All right, Tiger fans, Jeff Sansone, and we're doing some Tiger interviews with some of the varsity, JV, and freshman boys coaches tonight. And like to do this to bring, put a face and a voice to the guys you see on the sidelines coaching the boys. And I'm really happy tonight to have a bunch of the coaches here, and I'm going to blow it up so you can see everybody. So we have Joe Wolff, assistant varsity coach. We have Dan Volz, head JV coach. We have Kevin Briody, assistant JV coach and all-around program assistant, and Matt Brady, who is the freshman head coach. So, hey, guys, thanks for joining me, and really glad you took time out of the day. It's a late night, so I appreciate you guys being here.
No problem, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
I guess we'll start with maybe the newest addition to the staff, Kevin Briody. We'll start with Kev because we haven't gotten to talk to him in the past, and we'll get a word from Matt as well. But Kevin, new addition to the staff this year. You know, Johnny is your son. Played about 2 years ago with the Tigers. Was an integral part of that FCAC team that won two. Did he win 2 championships with that team? I think you're still muted, so heads up there.
We knew it was going to happen.
Okay, here I am.
It's all right.
Yeah, they won. Let's see, the first FCX championship they won freshman year. That was 2017, and then Johnny graduated in 20. So they won it. They beat Danbury in 19, beat Wilton in 17. Great. Danbury in 19, and then Trinity in 20.
Yeah, that Wilton game was, man, that might have been the greatest sporting event I've ever been to. But, that was some game. So how's your experience been with the boys so far this year? How do you like being on the other side?
Great. Nice to be in the gym. Great to see what it looks like from day to day. Steep learning curve. Huge learning curve. I sit there and I go, what have I been watching for the last decade? But you as a coach, you're just seeing it in a very different way than when you're just a dad or a fan. And really great to see all the work that goes into it, and great to be around the boys and the energy and the game.
Yeah, I can echo that. Like, the closer you get to the program, the more in awe I am of how much work goes into it. Like it seems like they're just playing basketball, and when you realize what's going on, it's impressive. And the boys and the coaches get a ton of credit for the preparation that they go through. Matt, what's it looking like with the freshman boys this year? It's a group that I've had some work with, in the off season, but there's a lot of different faces out there that weren't with us, and they're pretty impressive. What do you have to say about these guys that you got this year?
It's a good group of kids, as you usually find in Ridgefield. Very coachable. Probably not as deep as some other freshman teams that have come along, but. And we got off to such a choppy start because we had 4 or 5 kids go down with COVID. At one point, we only had 8 dressed for practice in the first game. So we're back up to 11. Still one player in COVID protocols will come back next week. But they're a good group of kids who work hard. They're, like I said, they're coachable, and the whole freshman experience is, breaking old habits, creating new habits, and introducing them to the type of ball player that we want to create by the time they're an upperclassman. And there's a couple of guys who are on a good path, but I've really enjoyed it. I have been around the program for 5 years prior to this. And when the freshman position came open, I was happy to jump in. Very rusty. Kevin talked about a learning curve. I hadn't coached a game in probably 7 or 8 years. And the first game, it certainly looked like it. But we're getting up to speed, and it's been a ball.
Yeah, looks like fun. I know you and Kevin both coached at the youth levels, right? When your boys were coming up and you coached the youth thing. I think when people talk about, the secret of the success, I think that youth program has a lot to do with it, and the quality of coaching that's down there, and just the care that goes into the youth programs really, I think, plays along. That group, Kevin, that Johnny was in, like, there were 7 guys that had played youth basketball, probably played for you, I would assume, and they hit high school running. They were ready to go, right? And that's from the youth programs. I mean, that stuff starts in 3rd grade with RBA, house ball, and it keeps going through travel, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, Joe was at an 8th grade practice tonight. It's certain, like when I walked in the gym this year, the jargon, the amount of jargon and language that's spoken and understood is amazing to me. Literally Greek to me. But all the boys, they're fluent, and whether they're doing it or correctly or not is obviously a day-to-day kind of thing. But all of that just comes from being exposed to it at the youth level, in the off season. They're speaking French.
Well, the IQ is definitely high, and Dan, you that freshman job opened up because you've moved up to be the JV coach now. What's that experience like? I know you looked at, I think you said last year was a little bit of, the test tube, and you get to try some stuff out. Do you still have that latitude with the JV team? Is it a little more structured because you're feeding them right into the varsity program? And we see some guys that, play in both games for you. They play some JV and they go up and play varsity. What's the experience like this year with the JV guys for you?
Yeah, it's there's a little bit of a culture shock. I think it's taking me a little bit while to fully find my groove with it. I think the thing with JV is it's very much a middle child type situation. The way we kind of do it at Ridgefield, you're either practicing with the freshmen and you're kind of part of the freshman practice and you're trying to show the freshmen the way, or you're part of the varsity practice and you're practicing against, a top 5 team in the state routinely. I made the mistake of suggesting, hey, why don't we keep the JV guys together every once in a while? And now we just keep the JV guys together because they had a couple good practices. And there are some times the JV guys just get mauled and they get beat up, and that's good for them. And as a coach, you're just trying to find that, trying to find ways to kind of build a team, kind of build a cohesive unit in there. And that's kind of the symbiotic. That's kind of, what I'm trying to hit. And Kevin's certainly been very helpful with that. I mean, having, 3 varsity coaches in the gym, along with 2 guys that are kind of focused on the JV, I think is really good for the kids. And that's what we're trying to provide as much as we can, for that JV group, which is a JV group that I think everybody's super excited about.
Yeah, I mean, that's, something we talk about, the secret sauce. I think that DNA getting handed down from generation to generation, being in the same gym with each other has been wildly important. And, you see a kid like Peter Carlusis, who is a freshman, and he's been in the gym with these guys, summer and fall, and he's not scared. And he speaks the language, to Kevin's point, and he hustles and he's got a good body on him. And he got some good JV minutes in the last game I saw against Bridgeport Central. And the other, we have 2 PKs, right? Peter Carlusis, 2 chains. And we also have Peter Sapowski, who for some reason is called PK because his brother was called DK, and now we call him PK. But it makes my life miserable on the mic. But, you get these guys that can handle themselves, and they're over their heads a little bit, but they still get some good minutes in the JV games. I think it's great experience for them to be on the floor so much. So it's really good, I think. The aforementioned 8th grade practice, Joe Wolff was kind enough to come to my practice tonight at St. Mary's. So thanks, Coach Wolff. We are definitely tapping you for some overtime today. What's this year's varsity team look like? And, how does the dynamic change from year to year? And I'm interested to hear how COVID has affected you. Last year, we weren't even playing yet, right? We had a very compressed season with COVID shortened, and just, it was a sprint. This year feels a little weird to me. Like, there's that overhang. Is it going to stop? Is it going to not stop? It's kind of stopping for some kids because they're out for a period of time. What's the whole varsity experience been like for you and the rest of the staff?
Well, yes, definitely different from last year, where last year was that sprint you're talking about. It's funny how in a normal season, pre-COVID, we would say the 20 games was not enough. After last year, this year seems, like we have more time. One of the interesting things we did this year is we scheduled 4 scrimmages against 4 really good programs. And that first scrimmage got on us quickly, I thought. We only had a couple practices under our belt. But I think we learned a lot in those scrimmages. It made us better. And, the COVID piece has been interesting because it's given more reps to some kids, more opportunities in practice. And I think, that makes us better for sure. And, going forward, hopefully we don't have to deal with this very much more, but I'm sure it will come up and we'll have the next guy ready to go. I think that's one of the things, as a coaching staff, we've done so well over the years is we try to make these guys better and push them to, keep raising whatever their ceiling is basketball wise.
Yeah, and the next guy up mentality came into play right away with Matthew Nakel being out. He suffered an arm injury in a game that I was coaching in the offseason, and it kept him out kept him out longer than he wanted. He wanted to go right away, and he's been incredibly tough and resilient. And but it gave Evan Kozdeba a chance to step up and Jordan Katz a chance to step up and get more time. To your point, these guys, you hear Rudin talk about it in the interview with Coach McClellan. There seems to be a never-ending string of guys ready to step up.
Yeah, that's why our practices are so competitive. One of the things about our practices is the way we practice, we do seem to have some injuries that come up. I think it's one of those kind of costs of doing business where we want to play a certain way. We're going to demand a lot of the boys, and some of that stuff does happen, unfortunately. But to your point, when Matthew was down, a lot of guys got put into some different roles and then also had more minutes in those scrimmages I was just talking about. And now, with Matthew back, we're really excited about that. He is a great player. And we're really excited about, where we go from here. We've gotten off to a good start, but we have plenty more to do.
Yeah, we were chatting before we started recording, talking about these games on video and watching the games on video. Everyone looks like they're the same height because of the camera angles, and video just slows the game down. And I was, you guys were there, and I was too for those scrimmages. The speed was real. Like those teams, Immaculate and Notre Dame and Colby, and I'm missing one other one. Prep. The speed that was fast for December games. Like those games felt super high speed to me, and I think the boys maybe were a little shocked at how fast everything was, and they absorbed it and they adjusted to it. But kudos to you guys for putting those top programs on a scrimmage schedule and kind of to shock. Like you said, it got on you quick. You guys got shocked to life pretty quick there with the speed of, especially Notre Dame. I felt, and Colby were really quick, and I think when you think about the game that everyone's probably got circled coming up, and I know we don't look ahead, but when the Windsor game that got rescheduled, maybe that rescheduling, gets you Nakel when maybe he would have missed the first meeting if it happened when it should have. So that's a game that it's a Saturday game at 3:00. And I think the whole state's going to be watching Windsor versus Ridgefield if things hold up. Those are 2 top 5 teams. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We have Ward coming up on Friday. Anyone want to jump in and talk about what Ward is going to bring to the table? They are probably one of the better teams in the FCIAC. You got to play them on the road. What do we expect Friday night against Ward?
Ward is for sure one of the top teams in the league this year. They have one of the best players in the league. We are very much prepared to deal with him and their team. Friday night on the road, it's a big test for us. I think we're ready. We've put in 2 full days of prep to get ready for Ward. Historically, they have played us tough, so I expect that tomorrow for sure. But we're excited about it. Another chance for us to go on. We expect we're going to get everybody's best shot this year, and we certainly think we're going to get Ward's best shot tomorrow. I think that's the way you want it as a competitor. So I know the boys are excited and ready.
Are you guys at full strength? Are they at full strength? Do you know this kind of information ahead of time with COVID and whatnot?
We have our information on them. As far as health wise, I'm not positive of that. We prepare for everyone as if they're going to be at full strength.
Right.
So yeah, very excited.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Not sure if they're going to stream it. We've been looking for that because these road games, fans, I don't know if they're going to be allowed in or not. I know in our gym, only parents, so we're streaming some games. So hopefully we can get that game to the fans and watch that. How's it been, with the masks this year for the boys? We would hope for them to be out of them, and then no fans in the stands. They kind of got the rug pulled out from under them. We started the season with fans, and then last week no fans. The boys seem to be unaffected. What do you guys feel on that? Anyone feel that they care or don't care if fans are in the stands right now?
They definitely care. The day that it was announced, it was pretty late in the day, like almost to the point where it's kind of late in the day. We could kind of ignore this announcement, but obviously we didn't do that. But when it was I guess it was the Bunnell game, right? Or was it Newtown? Bunnell game. It was, I think. But yeah, the announcement came down. It's like, oh, the SCAC and two whatever, and the players are coming back to the bench, and certain players are like, I'm sitting with these kids at lunch and they can't come to the game. I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna meet these kids out. I'm gonna see all these people. Why can't they come to the game? So it actually surprised me a little bit how much it bothered them. I think after last year, especially some of the returning players that played a lot of minutes last year, they were eager to get back in to a gym with some energy in it. So I definitely think it was I think it bothered them.
Yeah. Well, we had new SEAC guidance come out last night. We had kind of a dichotomy of guidance about return to school versus return to play that didn't seem very well balanced. Kids could be back in school, but they couldn't be back in the gym for an extended period of time. And, listen, we're all involved. I have parents that I'm answering to at the youth level. You guys, I'm sure have parents at the high school level that have questions. So nice to see things get more aligned, at least, from that perspective, to get players back on the court. Anyone really affected by COVID on your teams? The young people seem to be okay. I got it at Christmas and it kind of put me on my back for a while. It wasn't fun. Are the kids seem to be okay with this from your perspective?
Like I said, we definitely got hit early. Before Christmas, we lost 4 guys. Since Christmas, we've lost a couple. I went down for a week. I missed, 2 games because of it. So it hit the freshmen, but we seem to be rounding into form now, and I'd like to think that we're past it. But you just never know. I've read some more things today about mid-January to the end of January being the hopeful. A lot of people are hopeful that it's going to be the peak of this, at least of this variant. So I'm trying to remain as optimistic as possible. The kids bounce back fast, as they always do. But it definitely made for a choppy beginning to the season.
Yeah, Matt, I think that's a good term. Like last year was a sprint, and this year is this choppy. Don't know what you're going to have every day. Are we going to have 7 kids at practice? Or are we going to have 20 kids at practice? How many kids we have for a game?
Yeah.
I called the game the other day, and a couple of kids were texting me like, "Hey, coach, I'm not there. I'm home." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize they weren't here." Just you don't know who's coming and who's not, and when your opponents roll in, you don't know what they're going to have too. So it's been a very different, interesting season. Do you think there's any chance any of you guys can chime in that playoffs are at the home team again this year? Any talk of that, or are we gonna go back to the old way of being on a neutral site?
I personally, I think that, the timing of it, let's say we're end of February, beginning of March, right? I'm going half full, and I'm hoping that the decline is as fast as the rise on this thing this time around. I know where I'm parking my car at Andrew Ward for the quarters. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to make the playoffs first. We got to get into the top 8 first.
I'm sorry. That's right. Okay, sorry. One game at a time.
That's right. I think that's one of the coolest things that COVID maybe gave us last year was the fact that you guys, and we haven't even talked about this. I haven't talked to you guys since then. You won the championship again last year, the FCIAC championship, and you got to do it on your home floor. And the whole way through, you were home. It was really special, and you got to cut the nets down, and the girls did too. And one of the coolest experiences I think you could have as a player, and to see the nets cut down. What was that like for you guys? Winning. Let's talk about that for a second. You won the whole thing last year after winning 2 in a row. Joe, what's that like to just have it, solidified again and do it 3 times in a row? Really hard for any program in any sport to do it 3 times in a row, and you guys did it. What was that like?
And so last year was great to have. We even had the regular season championship game was a home game against Staples in the last regular season game. So we had that opportunity to win that on our home floor, which, Coach Mack talks about this a lot, and I agree with it, is, winning the regular season championship in ways is harder than the tournament, because it requires that, full season performing at a high level. And then, the point about, having 3 in a row and all that, it's actually made for a unique challenge this year because we have a bunch of kids that they don't know any different. So, we have to, as a staff, we remind them that, last year's championship team doesn't get us any points on the scoreboard this year. And you have to start and go through the whole process this year, just like we did in prior years. I'm super proud of it, but now talking to you in season of the next year, it's kind of like, all right, I'm just trying to beat Ward tomorrow.
Yeah. It's impressive, especially in high school where the makeup of the team is so different year to year. In college, you might have guys stick around for 2 or 3 years. And in the pros, certainly you build teams. In high school, man, it's like, you don't know, it's a revolving door with guys graduated 7 seniors 2 years ago, 4 seniors last year. It's really impressive. And I don't want to harp on it because we are in the 21-22 season and we have Ward tomorrow night, but it's something at least to reflect on. And since we didn't get a chance to talk last year, I just want to touch on it. So you have to bear with me here, and we're going to wrap up in a second, but I would be remiss if I didn't share this. And Joe doesn't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm going to do this. Let's see here. Let's see if I practiced this. So let's see if I can do this right. I'm going to share sound. We talked about some stuff last year, and the last time I had the boys together. Oh boy, I'm screwing this up. Come on, Sansone, don't choke. Hold on. You guys all still there?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
You're doing great, Jeff.
Not the most professional thing, Kev. You know what I'm saying?
It looks great. My screen's all purple. It's great.
Just hold on now. Just bear with me.
It's the no editing thing.
My laptop is 20 years old, so it's a little difficult. Yeah, this is going to be fun though if I can get this up.
Yeah, my knowledge of NFL football at this point is probably the least in this group. So it's definitely. I would say, I enjoy Patrick Mahomes, so I'm gonna lean Patrick Mahomes, lean the Chiefs. I'll say 27-20.
27-20, Coach Volz of the Chiefs. Okay. Yeah. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I got the Chiefs also. It's a very no real reasons other than I'm a Jet fan and I could never pick or root for Tom Brady. So Chiefs, I'll say 31-20.
All right, Romeo, tell us who's going to win.
So I'm a Giants fan, and the Giants' success against Brady in the Super Bowl, 2 wins. But today it's going to be the Chiefs by 14 or more, 35-21.
All right. I unfortunately am also a lifelong Jets fan like Joe. And it's been, I think they won their last championship the year I was born. And so it's been a long run. But I don't know. Is the staff allowed to pick Tampa Bay because Tom Brady's on the team? Is that not allowed because of someone's hatred of?
If his team was good enough to beat the Chiefs, I'd pick them, but they're not.
Okay. Well, listen, I think I don't know. I'm like Dan. I'm not a big football guy. I think Mahomes is electric, but Brady is just the respect I have for someone that can do it for as long as he does. as well as he does is just off the charts. I guess I'll be that spoiler. I'm gonna pick Tampa Bay in a close one. And I think, being home and just Tom Brady, hopefully mistake-free football might outdo the athleticism and sheer dynamic play of Patrick Mahomes. All right, well, there you have it, boys. I mean, he had to get there. My only regret is that Romeo couldn't be with us tonight. He got tied up and he was supposed to be here, but a little early to make Super Bowl predictions, but maybe you'll have to email them to me for next year so I know who not to bet on. But that was fun.
I'm picking the Jets.
Yeah, thanks. Are you a Jets fan, Kev?
No, definitely not.
All right. You are a musician, though, by the way. We can, a little background on some of the coaches. You are a professional musician as well, right? Maybe some people don't know that.
Wait, I didn't realize we were going down this road here.
Well, you opened the door, so I'm going to kick it in.
What door was that?
You started talking about the Jets. How often do you get to play out, Kev?
Yeah, so I don't play out a whole lot anymore. I'm a songwriter. I have a studio. I spend a lot of time in the studio.
Cool.
I used to play out a ton, and nowadays, let's see. I'm doing the math. I was 6 years old when the Jets last won the Super Bowl. So I'm getting old, and so I just hang out in the studio a lot more.
We're gonna have you doing the national anthem this year, maybe?
I don't know. I've never been invited back.
You did it once. I was there. It was really good. That would be cool. Anyone else?
That was fun.
Anyone else singing? We got any guys to sing backups
nice
for you
moment.
on the staff here? Anyone? Danny, you got some pipes? What's going on back there? Anything?
No, no.
Want to get off this topic immediately? Huh? Okay. Well, listen, we'll wrap it up unless anyone has something they wanted to cover and we missed. But Ward on Friday, Trumbull off the top of my head Monday, and then New Canaan later in that week, and then it's going to be Windsor at home on that Saturday game. So, it's a 5-game and 11-day stint for you guys with Ward tomorrow, and in the next 2 weeks we should know where the Tigers stand with a pretty clear picture. And really looking forward to all these games as usual. Love what you guys do. Tons of respect for how much work you guys put in, and this town and the boys and the parents are really lucky to have you guys. And I just wanted to acknowledge all the hard work you guys do, and the love you have for the game and the kids and just the program. And so thank you for all the hard work, and thank you for spending a few minutes with me late on a Thursday night. So I apologize for that, but we'll get this out there. Hopefully the fans enjoy it, and looking forward to seeing you guys on the sidelines this year.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everybody.
All right, boys, stick around for 1 second. All right, Tiger fans, we'll put this up. Let's cheer for the Tigers this year.